Let me introduce you to Krista Mashore. She's our guest in this episode, and I happen to be able to call her my personal friend. I absolutely adore her. Krista is a powerhouse digital marketing expert, a 6-time best-selling author, and multiple two-Comma Club Award winner, and many other ClickFunnels Awards winner. She's a speaker empowering agents and entrepreneurs to optimize business operations, generate lead conversions that drive success, and unlock the path to financial independence. And today, we get her for a whole hour, and I'm so excited. I want to get to know her more personally, because I believe that where we are in life is because of what we went through and the lessons we learned from that. So let's get to know Krista. Let's figure out what does it take to become one of the best digital marketing women in the industry.
Welcome to Gogopreneur, where Gogo Bethke, your host, interviews badass rock star entrepreneurs of the world, figuring out who they are, how they got to where they're at, and the lessons they learned along the way, so you can learn those lessons and turn it into money. Let's go get them.
So Krista, I'm so excited that you're here, even though you're not feeling so good.
No, I feel good enough to be here with you because I wouldn't miss it. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, you're the best. This is what, relationships are like, right? Even when you feel like shit, you still show up to your commitment.
I know. I think I have COVID. I'm like,
Oh, no. But thank you so much for being here. I really just I use the Gogopreneur show, TV/radio/podcast, right? YouTube, we are everywhere. I use this show for introducing people to the world and my audience and listeners and viewers, right? To people that I think are amazing, and I think you're amazing. You're actually the first person who was in my calendar.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. We've been
in the Gogopreneur show calendar, even though you're not the first one to go live because you were so busy and you had to book for June, right? But you were the first one that we scheduled.
I remember you reaching out to me. I was excited about it. So I'm here now. So let's chat.
Let's chat. I wish we should do this because I know you, right, personally. Like we should do this later at night when it gets a little dark with a glass of wine. And
I think we'll do a follow-up, and I think that's a great idea.
I think that would be so.
Our real true selves, right?
Yes.
I always regret it the next day when I do things like that on wine. I'm always like, dang it, I got to go delete that.
Okay, so let's get to know you. Let's talk a little bit about your childhood. Who is Krista, right? You have achieved so. Everyone who's listening and not watching, the ones who are watching, you can see the background behind Krista. So let's start with the image of what's behind you, Krista. Would you describe what that is to the world when they have not seen so many ClickFunnels awards? So can you tell us what that is?
Those are just basically awards from digital marketing that I received from ClickFunnels. Even though I don't use ClickFunnels anymore, I've got my own software which does funnels, but ClickFunnels said that I was the world's best real estate funnel builder. I do a lot of online marketing. And so those awards are showing that we've done just in the past 6 years through coaching, we've done just about $60 million in sales through using ClickFunnels.
That's amazing. So guys, behind her, there are a lot of awards. So I have 3 two-Comma Club awards. She has 33 of them. I only have the 2-Comma Club award. She has many of what is the 10 million called?
The 10 million is I think the 2C, and then we've got the 225 million ones back there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, girl, you are awards. So
everyone just let you know, it shows my own insecurity. Awards make me feel special. So I makes me feel significant. That's the only reason. So that shows that my insecurities.
Yeah, you work. I mean, we all have them, right? You work hard to achieve. I achieve. I'm an achiever. I'm a serial achiever. Right? I'm not exactly sure what I'm trying to prove with every single achievement that I achieve, but it makes me feel good.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like, if I can do that, then what else can I do?
I know.
Right?
I know.
But how did Krista Mashore become the queen of digital marketing? Where did you start? Were you born into you're just going to be the next amazing human with skills in digital marketing? Were you born with that? Let's take you back to childhood.
So basically anyone that knows my story, I have not lived at home since I was 13. I'm very, very close to my mom and my dad. However, my mom, when I was younger, was physically abusive. And so I say that with very great respect for her. She's been very instrumental in my healing. But the abuse got pretty bad. And so when I turned 13, I started running away from home, and I ended up living, on the streets, living in cars, abandoned buildings. And I would get caught and go back home. And then for a year, would just run away until finally I broke the law. I ended up breaking into my 8th grade locker room when the girls were out at PE. I stole their clothes and their money because I didn't have any. That got me thrown into juvenile hall. Went to juvenile hall for 3 weeks, and then I went to a group home called Hidden Hills Group Home for Girls, which was nothing hidden about it because I got dropped off every day in a big, huge green bus labeled "You're a screw up." So I felt even worse about myself. And people were very, chastised us, bullied us, made us feel really even worse about ourselves in high school. And then from there, I got sent to a foster home. And then when I turned 18, the foster parents, they were great to me, but they weren't getting any more money when I turned 18. So I had to leave at 18 and kind of like figure it out and was on the streets again. So that's kind of the story, how it started.
And you became a digital marketer at 18?
No. So then I ended up becoming a teacher. I ended up getting married and putting myself through college. I got student loans, went to school, decided I wanted to be a teacher, became a teacher for 6 years. Then my young daughter, Kaylee, got very sick. She contracted spinal meningitis. She had kidney failure, multiple strokes. And so I left my teaching job to stay at home with her and be a full-time mom, and like a part-time realtor was my goal. And then this makes my life seem really screwed up. Anyways, Gogo. But
well, I love going through these life stories with everyone because I want the world to see that no one has it easy.
Yes.
Right. So what we see as your awards in the background, but if they don't listen to your life story and realize what did you go through to get them, that's why they're so valuable. Is what you went through to actually get it. It didn't just show up on the wall.
So when I tell people that, I'm like, oh, they must think I'm a horrible person. But so then I got married. When my daughter got sick, I was already married. And right when we bought a brand new house, I was home for a couple of months with her. I found out my husband at the time was having an affair. And so I had to go full time into real estate. I ended up leaving him, obviously. We had drained bank accounts, no money at all in the bank, 2 little girls under the age of 5. And I had to figure real estate out. So I figured real estate out, and from that point on, just started crushing it. Was in the top 1% of agents nationwide, like 17 years in a row. But I will say this, when the market crashed in 2008, and this is how it relates to everybody, I was doing amazing because I had picked up 13 different asset management companies. I worked for anywhere from I had the HUD account, Freddie Mac account, all these different accounts. When the market got better, my business all went away. And I hadn't been marketing myself for that 5-year-ish period when I was doing the foreclosures because you just didn't market those properties. Most of them were gross and they were selling so quickly. So it was almost like everything dried up really quickly, all my asset management, my assets. And I had to figure it out. And that's when I was doing marketing like crazy before, but just in a different way, if that makes sense. But I really dove into digital marketing, back around, it was like around 2012, I would say. And just started mastering Facebook ads and learning about, funnels and marketing online. And by doing so, I quickly got back up to over 100 homes a year because I averaged like over 100 homes a year, 17 plus years in a row, 19 years in a row. And that mastering marketing, digital marketing is what got me back up to over 100 homes a year once all my assets dried up. So that's kind of the story really quickly.
And then when was the last time you personally sold a home? Like you are no longer selling currently real estate, right? So just like I don't.
Yeah. So in 2017, I sold 154 homes that year. Then we did 101. And then like 69. And that was right around that time I kind of started because I was coaching. So I was slowly taking myself out of real estate. And so now my team does around 20 homes a year. If that, maybe this year will probably do 30 or 40, but I'm just kind of on the back end, sort of like learning what's the market like. And then what they do is all the digital marketing that I learn, they incorporate it into their business, which is what helps me understand, have a handle on the market and know what's working and what's not. But personally, I haven't gone on a listing appointment or work with a buyer, in probably 4 or 5 years. But I'm still just have my finger on the pulse with my brother and my daughter in the industry. But they're not me, so they're not quite as psychotic, and they're not, they don't want to sell 100 homes a year. They're happy selling 20 or 30, But for me, I wouldn't have been if I was a full-time agent.
So what is your everyday looks like today?
Well, I think just like everyone else, I've been working more than I would like to because, my avatar are real estate agents. I also help entrepreneurs, sell high ticket, but because of the economy and the recession, my main client are real estate agents and they're struggling. So because of that, I've noticed, like we kind of talked about that before we got on, like it's just been a harder harder 18 months, even for us. Right. And, we're noticing realtors just don't have as much money to invest in coaching, even though right now they should probably be investing more than ever because of how hard it
Exactly.
is.
You're supposed to use the time when you have it to learn skills that you don't have.
Exactly.
So then by the time the good times come around, you have no new skills to invest. But I think most people will start saving their pennies, right? Instead of
Yes.
investing back into themselves. And then they dig themselves even into a deeper hole by not learning new skills, right? And not adjusting to the market. But what is a day to day looks like when you, from the moment that you wake up, I want to cover like I want to see like how does your day, what does Krista Mashore do all day?
So I get up and the first thing I do is I do something called Thrive. It's something that I developed and learned. Like I basically wrote a book called Stop, Snap, and Switch: Train Your Brain to Unleash Your Limitless Life. And out of all the books I've written 6 best-selling books. This one is my favorite one because I feel like it's the catalyst to success, right? Everyone thinks it's funnels and marketing, but really it starts with your mindset. And so as I was writing this book, I came up with this thing called Thrive. And it's basically, the T stands for giving thanks, right? So the H is like happy. You literally make yourself laugh out loud. The R stands for reminding yourself that you're resourceful, you're resilient. The I is for like take immediate action and then do it now, immediate. And then also having it like a really quick I am statement, like I am amazing, I am strong, I am powerful, I am wealthy. The V is like quickly visualizing yourself successful. And the E is like expecting it, have energy around it and enthusiasm around it and energy around it. So I do that before I even hit the floor. And I try to do that as many times throughout the day. It's like a 30 to 60 second practice. All of those things on the Thrive are built to literally help you have the most productive life. So that's the first thing I do. Then go ahead.
I'm thinking here, I'm like, that's amazing. Would you feel comfortable? Yeah, I think you have something printed. I think I saw it sometime.
So this is an example of Thrive. And if anyone wants a copy, I'll get you can you see it? I'll get you a copy of it. And then here's my manifesto in here. I love this. It's so beautiful. But these right here are this backwards, but usually they're in the background, but I just had this interview and I had to remove it. But so that's the Thrive, and I'll give you the little. I love that, and it's me.
And I think I also saw something like, is it like a mantra or like a description of yourself? Do you have that one too?
Yeah, that's my. This is for community market leaders, and then mine is this one. This is like my own personal.
Would you read this one?
Yes. So I'm a loving, loyal, supportive wife, mother, and friend. I am a philanthropist. I'm the #1 trainer in the world. I speak at conferences across the country and have trainings with thousands of people. I'm a leader. I positively affect every life that I touch and make a difference in the world. I uplift and upbuild those around me. I help others achieve more in life and have more financial freedom and time. I am building community market leaders across the country who make an impact on their communities and who are go-givers. And as you can see, that's memorized. And
I wanted to say, for those of you who are just listening and not seeing the visual of this, right? Krista did not read that, FYI. She literally just recited it. Even though she had it in her hand, but the flyer, so sad, was facing the camera, so you could tell she is not reading yet. She knows it by heart. How many times do you think you have said that out loud?
Oh, a ton. I try to read it every day, or I just it's in my mind. And like I have one that I teach my students, and they will read it before they go on a listing appointment when they wake up in the morning. I wrote that 6 years ago and this is why mindset's so important. So, you and I both are Tony Robbins lovers. And about 10 years ago, I went to a Tony Robbins event and I looked at my friend. I don't remember this, but I said to her, I'm going to speak on stage with Tony Robbins. And I was a realtor at the time. But I had this massive fear of speaking in front of people. I used to, one time I called myself Krista Miller when I was Krista Mashore. That was my divorce name, when I was speaking in front of like 20 people at Broker Tour talking about my 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. Cause I used to be and I still am, quite frankly, petrified when I speak in front of people publicly. And so for me to write, I'll speak in front of thousands of people, was like, how the heck are you ever going to do that? Because you say the wrong name when you're on stage. But I had a vision to like really, really help people. And I know people always say this, Gogo, like, I want to help people, but you know me enough to know that I really do. Like, I love people. I want to leave this earth and people to say, Krista really helped me.
Yeah.
And so,
I always say, I'm like, I want to be like a little dot in the history book.
Yes. I love that.
The big book of life. I want to make God proud. Like one day, and I'm hoping I get to the pearly gates of heaven, right? I want God to say, you did good.
Yeah,
I'm,
you
I'm, I'm,
will for sure.
I'm proud of you, right? That's why I'm like, I want to help people, of course, with the skills that God gave me, right? I want
You
to leave
will.
this world a better place than I found it. And I want to be like a little dot. I want to have effect on people's lives.
I will say something about you. I hope this comes across right, but I have personally known you for a couple of years, and I have seen you grow significantly over the past 12 to 18 months. I mean, I know your upbringing. I know you come from Romania, and I know how, it's different there, and the people are different. And
Yeah.
it's, you've come from very humble beginnings, coming here with nothing. And I have personally watched you turn into more of a humbler, kinder, not that you weren't before, person over the past 12 to 18 months. It's been really nice to see your journey.
I mean, I think it helps, right? To when you start making money, you don't have to chase that next commission anymore, and you don't have to be such a fierce negotiator and such a fierce marketer and fight for your slice of the pie in the market, right? Like when you can kind of take a breather and not be so, I don't want to use the word aggressive, right? But I feel like, especially in the real estate world, like I don't know about you, but I always felt like I'm kind of in the good old boys club, like in the men's world, right? And in order to stand your ground and get a seat at the table, like you have to be able to pull your weight, right?
That's
And I
something that
feel
you and I, although one of the few things we differ on, as far as for me, I didn't notice it when I was in real estate. I noticed it. People used to always say dumb things to me like, "Oh, Krista, you're so successful because you're pretty." And I'd be like, "Okay, you just keep thinking that while I keep kicking your butt every year because I'm willing to invest and, become the best I can be." But I notice it way more in the entrepreneurial world now than I ever did in real estate. In real estate, I just didn't notice it. I don't know why. Maybe,
really in
but
real
I
estate,
noticed it more now.
I never forget I had this $1 million listing, and I was on the listing side, and the buy side realtor was this 6 foot, like a Tony Robbins, 6'4", 6', like a big
Yeah.
guy, right? And the showing was over. It was $1 million listing, so sellers wanted me to be present. So I was there. I opened the door, and he walked through with his clients and all that, and they were not interested at all, right? So I'm pulling out of the driveway, locked up the house, pulling out. He runs up to the car and starts negotiating. He's like, "Never mind. They want to, they want to make an offer. They want to put $100,000 or whatever." We start negotiating. Later on in the negotiations, he says, "Gogo, you're so intimidating."
You're all
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like 5'2". You're like 6'7". Like who? Like I'm intimidating, right? So I heard it that I'm intimidating in negotiations in the real estate side of things. I haven't heard people say that I'm intimidating in the entrepreneurial side.
Mhm.
But I agree with you that I feel like the bigger we get, the less women are in the group.
Very true. That is very true.
I don't want to say like the bigger the boys club. It's the boys club is not bigger. It's the same. It's just the percentage of women versus men at the higher level is very off.
And I will say this, and this is, I hate sounding like a feminist because I love women, but I don't consider myself a feminist.
Oh, me neither.
But you know what I'm saying?
We can all do it all.
Yeah, but I will say that often men can be very dismissive. And they can be very dismissive and they mansplain. Excuse me, but there's a lot of mansplaining. It's like, I heard you at the very first sentence, number one. I don't need you to explain things like they mansplain. And I've noticed it more and more. Like, I didn't even know what mansplaining was until I hired this one girl, and she's like, "They're mansplaining you." I'm like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, they are mansplaining me," right? Like they're just, and here I am, like literally teaching.
I think it also has to do with our looks, though.
I do. I mean, and you're a little bit younger than I am. I'm getting a little older, so I think it's getting a little easier for me.
I'm not getting younger.
I'd rather be younger like you are, but it's like you are. It's right. Like people. I gotta tell you this funny story. I'm totally. You were there. So remember when? So I don't know if we ever talked about this, but remember when Tony was like, "Well, first of all, when we were with him, I asked a question. He diverted my question like crazy. If you remember that, but he was like." He asked me, "Well, what's your goal?" Well, my goal was I want to be bigger than Tony Robbins. Like my goal is that I'm going to be the Tony Robbins of real estate. People are going to know my name just like Tony's. But I didn't feel comfortable telling him that when he asked me the question.
I want to be you, just 5'2", blonde little version. A chick version of you.
Tony Robbins. I couldn't tell him that. So then that brought him on this whole tangent. It was so funny. I should have just said the truth, huh?
No, but I can literally tell.
I didn't say it.
Yeah. When people don't know me, right? Like if they don't follow me or they don't know me or whatever, right? And they meet me, I can tell the moment they realize that I have a brain. Because people think based on my looks that I'm some blonde bimbo most of the time until they get to know me. And I can literally see when their face changes when they do one of this, like,
Yeah.
right? For all of you who are not watching, it's like a 6 inches back with their face and just be like, oh, she has a brain, right?
Do you think it's more for men or women or both? It's, and you know what's, and I love women so much, but sometimes like it's hard for even sometimes women can be a little bit like harsher, you know?
I think it's everyone, but I'm not really making it easy for them either, because I'm not the type of woman who's going to cover, like, I'm not wearing a turtleneck so you can take me seriously, right? Half the time my tits are hanging out. You know what I mean? And I'm totally fine with that because I'm European and I was born naked. Like, I was raised naked, born naked. Like, I don't care about having to cover up. I don't give any significance of what people think of me. I like the way I dress. If you don't like it, don't look at it. But based on the way I dress, right, and based on the way I look, people, I wouldn't say they'd take me seriously if they don't know who I am at first.
Well, and it's a little bit more acceptable now. By the way, I want that dress. You were at a wedding recently. I commented on you probably don't even know because you don't do your socials, but it was like,
if you comment on Instagram, I answer every single Instagram.
It was an orange and pink dress, super flowy. I want you to send it to me. I want to send it to me, and I'll wear it. Okay. I'll send you one of my awesome outfits. We'll do it. Well, we should do exchange. We dress very similar.
Well, was it on my Instagram post?
It's been about probably 2 months ago, but we dress similar. We could literally.
Oh yes. I was at my friend's 40th, and it's my little orange mermaid dress.
Gorgeous. I was like, I want that dress. But we really should start. I'm not kidding. Once a month, do a swap. So we'll send something, right? And then I'll send you mine, and then we'll send back the original things, but then we'll send back 2 new. Let's try that. And
I love it.
Do a thing. I'm not kidding. We're starting because it's so
I love it.
Cool.
I've never been the type of woman who's like, ooh, I don't want people to wear that. I take that as a compliment. I'm like, if you love what I'm wearing enough where you want to wear it, to me, that's a compliment.
Oh yeah, me too.
I will twin with you. We can go to now and wear the same thing, and I will twin with you on stage. I would love it.
So cute. So we're on stage. We can't.
So let's talk about a little bit about the being a woman in the industry. What do you think is going to change? What do you think is going to take to change the percentage of leadership? And okay, so I'm not a feminist either. I believe that people can be whoever they want to be, and I'm not asking the boys to let us into the good old boys club. I'm not asking that. But I think there is somewhere guys just have naturally more balls to take action, be more risky, go for that big obnoxious goal. Why do you think, or do you even feel the same? I don't know if you do. Why do you think women don't seem to take as high of a risk or believe that they can do it? Or what is the disconnect? Why aren't more women at the board table as there are men? In a world where we can all do it all.
And also in real estate, there's more women. So it is kind of surprising because the ratio is a lot higher. I think a lot of it is quite frankly societal. I think women have kind of allowed it. And I think it sometimes can be a good old boys club, like you're saying. I mean, they have relationships. And I think also people, this is really terrible, but people are motivated to help people that they perceive will be able to help them more. And that's and you know, and I'm going to be honest, we're all that way, right? At times, like there's times where somebody will say to me, Krista, can you do a podcast? And if they have 2 followers or this, call me rude, call me mean, but I only have a certain amount of time, right? I only have a certain amount of time with my family, with myself. And so I have to be cautious of just saying yes to everyone. Sometimes I have to say no for different reasons, obviously. And I think all people need to learn to say no more. I've had to learn to say no more, whereas before I would say yes to everything. And I was like literally getting sick because of it, you know? Yeah. And I've had to learn like, okay, how is this going to help me in my cause more, you know, and my own health and my relationships and my marriage and all that. But people will do things like you and I talked about it recently. I'm not going to go into details on a launch that we just did. And you were like, wow, that was very transactional. Yeah. And, you know,
I felt like a nobody, even though we made these people millions and millions and millions of dollars. I don't even know if they know my name.
Yeah. And that's very common, I think, in a lot of, you know, in life, unfortunately.
Are you enjoying the Gogopreneur podcast? Subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you. I wanted to, as you were talking, I was thinking about this. So the people that I consider influential and I watch their teachings, or like the Bradleys, the Cardones, the Tony Robbins, the Joe Rogans, they're all guys.
Yeah, well, out of those four names, two I would watch. Two I would completely not. Even though I cannot.
But I'm just saying, like, those are all guys, and then I really have to force myself.
Well, no, you've got Mel Robbins. You've got who's that one lady? It's horrible. I don't know her name.
Okay, I know one. Candace Owens and Cody.
Oh yeah, Cody Sanchez. Yeah,
Sanchez.
I don't consider her an influencer, quite frankly. I mean, she is an influencer, but I don't think she's not influential. Meaning she's smart, but I don't consider her like a leadership in like self development and like Tony Robbins or these type of people.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, I would say yes.
Yeah.
There's who's that one lady that teaches to be authentic. Oh, I'm having a trouble with her name right now.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But see, the fact that I don't even know.
Is it Brown? Something Brown?
Yes, Brene Brown. Brene Brown.
Yeah.
I love Brene Brown. Brene Brown, Mel Robbins, Jen Sincero. Like Mel Robbins is doing a pretty good job. But they need more. They need more of us, and it's crazy because that's the
so us ladies, we need to step up to the table. That's our fault if we haven't built that influence and built that audience.
I'm working on it. You're working on it. We're both working on it. It's just things take time, and you know things take time. And
well,
I think
why do I have to be 62-year-old to achieve that though? Why can't I be like cute and 42?
Well, you're doing it much younger than I am. Like I wish I did it. You're about 10, 11, 12 years younger than me. I wish I would have done it younger. That is one. I don't regret many things. But one thing I do regret is not even knowing or thinking about or not wanting to step out into that role sooner. I didn't want to until 10 years ago. And so finally 4 years later, 4 years later it took me.
Let's talk about that. So let's talk about how you went to the first Tony Robbins event. And then you thought to yourself, I'm going to be speaking on that stage. And then it was last year, right? You got to speak on a Tony Robbins event?
Yeah, last year.
So let's talk about imagining these obnoxious, like when you're imagining it, you're like, I'm out of my mind. Like, this is crazy. Like, that's Tony Robbins. And I'm thinking I'm going to be Tony Robbins. Like I go through these thoughts I literally have conversations with myself, right? So let's talk about these obnoxious goals and then how you manifested it into your life. So then our listeners can set their own obnoxious goals and learn how to bring it in. So let's talk about that.
I think a lot of people will hear this stuff and they'll kind of think that it's like, craziness. Well, like one of the ways is this. Like, I speak at trainings of thousands of people, right? Like I'm the number one trainer in the world. Like I literally wrote it down and think about it and I'll visualize myself. Just like when you and I won the event, I did that first year myself, and I visualized myself at the table. I visualized myself being there, and I had to like stop, snap, and switch the heck out of me because my mind was saying, you're never going to be able to beat these people. You don't have a list. You don't have a following. What are you thinking about? Like, how are you ever going to do that? It's a matter of me like training my brain.
So let's talk about that super quick. So I'm going to stop you there. Let's talk about the Tony Robbins, how you manifested it, but let's explain the stop, snap, and switch, because you use it in the middle to make it happen, right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Let's talk about that one super quick. And
so
then that's also a book that you wrote, so I want it on the screen while you're explaining it.
Yeah. So basically, the book Stop, Snap, and Switch I have a degree in psychology. When you come from any type of abuse or any type of trauma in life, typically you've got a lot of mental junk. So I had a lot of mental junk. I used to struggle with feeling worthy, feeling loved, feeling enough, quite frankly. And so mindset became a huge aspect to get me to where I am today. So I wrote the book Stop, Step, and Switch to be able to show like, how does this foster kid go from fosters to fortune? And I don't just mean fortune and money, even though I'm like you, I could stop working now and be perfect forever and be able to do whatever the heck I wanted. I say fortunes in like health, wealth, happiness, marriage. Like I have a very good, happy life in all aspects. You were around me and my husband, you saw it. And it was, I learned to control my brain. So Stop, Step, and Switch is we have between like 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are negative because of the news and all these things. And most of them are like a lot of negative repeated thoughts, right? And so stopping and recognizing the negative thought is the first thing, like saying something like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, or I didn't get enough done today, or my husband's an a-hole, or why does he always do that? Or, how come I didn't get chosen on that stage, or whatever it might be. It's a negative thought. Stop and recognizing it, and then snapping the bracelet because it puts the brain and like a physical something together and then switching the bracelet to the other hand. And then now you're switching the thought around to, I didn't get chosen this time to be on stage because there's an even bigger stage coming. Or, hey, yes, I'm a little bit older, but that's okay. It just means I have more wisdom and I'm going to have more patience, right? And I've learned what not to do. It's just switching around the negative thought. And then you start to realize how negative we are to ourselves, how negatively we talk to ourselves. We say things to ourselves we would never say to anyone else. And then once you get good at that, then you do it the opposite. Or even you can start to do it the opposite where it's like, hey, Krista, great job. You have COVID, I think, and you took the time today to be on, Gogo's podcast, even though you feel like crap, you look like crap, you sound like crap, like a raspy old lady, but you still did it. Great job. Like it's recognizing that what you're doing well. So it goes both ways, and it really is a life changer. Like I believe it's a life changer.
I always say what gets celebrated gets duplicated, right? No matter how small the achievement, no matter how small the achievement is, give yourself credit, right? Or give yourself the dangling carrot to be like, when I achieve that, I'll buy myself that Gucci bracelet, right? Like I always treat myself to something because then I can tie that to that achievement. And also, I like to achieve, right? Like to me, I actually enjoy the journey of achievement. I like to do things and then have the result and be able to say I've done that, right? And then especially if I have that dangling carrot at the end, I'm like, ooh, that's really fun. I want that. I want that, right? I always set myself a goal and then I set myself a gift. So as soon as I receive that I achieve that goal, I go and get that gift for myself.
Yes, I love it. I just had an idea for you and me too, by the way.
Oh, let's talk about that in a little bit, unless you want to put it out there to the public right now.
Well, we can, but so what if you and I had a mastermind together where we did our mastermind? It was just a mastermind, $35,000 to $50,000 ticket. Why? For the year, a year of mastermind. Just like, I just spent well over that, like almost put a zero on the end of it to be in a mastermind with a bunch of men.
When we were at that event and you took out your credit card and you charged, I think it was 6 digits, wasn't it?
250,000. Yeah, I don't even like saying it.
Multiple, $250,000. I about fell under the table.
Did you?
Well, I was thinking, I don't think I can even charge it to my card. I don't think I have a
here's the deal. The reason why is because the reason for my success is being, it's like who, not how. There's power in proximity.
Oh, yeah.
When I left coaching, when I left real estate, I think I did about $1.8 million in commission that year, right? Which is, people told me I was crazy to leave real estate and coach because, and so I had to find the best mentors, the best masterminds, the best groups to be in so I could learn the mindset. And also I wanted to be the dumbest one in the room so I could learn. And I'm telling you what, doing what I've done, like you, similar to you in my a whole new career at 47 years old when I started is because of being in the room. There's the most powerful thing I've done in my career with my career change is being in these masterminds. And I believe it so much. I believe it. Yeah. That it's easy for me to sell because people need people. You need them to learn from, when you're in a mastermind, Napoleon Hill says that 2 minds become 3. There's like an invisible force in the room, right? And you think about things and you learn things that you never imagine being in a room of 50 people and, 50 minds becoming 500 and seeing things that you normally wouldn't see. It's just an amazing, amazing thing. So I thought about this when we were together and I didn't bring it up to you. But I think together we could crush that and we would really make a huge impact on
and it
people.
Would be so fun too.
So fun. And
I guess my team is listening. Natalia is in the background.
We're doing a mastermind.
Probably pulling out her hair. It's like, there goes another idea. Right? Yeah. If they could just shoot all of my squirrels, right? They would.
I know. But this is like, for us we're telling we want to make an impact in the world. Like, this is how you do it. You help other people become the best versions of themselves. And then you help them become the best they can be. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm doing inside of my GoGet'em community, which is, by the way, only $49, not $35,000. But they also don't have direct access, like physical touch access, right? In that, but it's a knowledge-based library. But the whole idea of the community is not only just coming to learn, but also to share your knowledge. Because I believe that everybody brings something to the table, that God gave them a talent that I don't have and the other person doesn't, right? And that if something comes so natural to someone, they should teach it. Right. So I'm all about knowledge. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the, God knows, the thousands of hours and thousands of dollars that I have spent on learning new skills. And I like to say buying speed. So I don't have to spend 30 years of
Yes, that's
educating
exactly
myself.
what a mastermind is. You gain from the skills, the knowledge, the education, and the monetary investment from the other people in the group, and you're learning what to do and not to do. You're collapsing time frames. It's been instrumental in my success, 1000%. And then taking action. Like, you have to actually do the thing, right? You can't just show up or take a training. Like, just like you, I'm obsessed with education, but it's not just the education; it's the
action.
Yes, the action, the implementation of the education.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go back to the Tony Robbins story. So you go to the first event. If I remember correctly, the story is that you're looking at that tall guy. You're like, I'm going to be him one day.
Kind of, yeah. And
then tell us the story.
I made a goal. I said, I'm gonna do this, even though I don't remember that part. But I don't remember saying it to my friend, but my mind was like, I want to do that. How can I do that? You know, and not from a vanity perspective. Oh, I want to be on stage and I need all this recognition. It was from I want to make a massive impact on people. And I know there's a big need for women. And I just started thinking about it and visualizing it, and slowly, that's 10 years later. It took me 9 years to get on Tony Robbins' stage and Dean Graziasi's stage, where they had me speak on their challenge in front of, 60,000 plus, several 100,000 people. So it was cool.
So you went from 9 years ago, well, not counting this year, right? 9 years ago, sitting at your first Tony Robbins event, for 9 years later to actually be speaking at one.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, most people won't take the time. They give up so easily. And I don't know about you, but I think the biggest issue that I see most people make is that they stop too soon. They stop too soon, and they have roadblocks, and it's hard, and they lose money, and they have so many hard things happen, and they just take that as a warning sign to stop. When really it's like a big sign that you're heading in the right direction. You're learning what's not working.
I can't remember how many feet from gold.
Yeah, it's Think and Grow Rich. You're 3 feet from gold.
3 feet from gold, but there's an actual book out there.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, like 3 feet, or maybe it's the story. I don't remember.
No, it's a story. It's a story. Napoleon Hill talks about it, about a gold miner.
Okay,
a gold miner is literally 3 feet from gold, and he sells the gold mine, and he sells it to the garbage man for like a couple $100, and then the garbage man literally strikes gold and makes millions and millions of dollars. This is back in the 1900s.
It's 3 feet from gold, right? So I look at problems as a problem. We just need to solve it. Like, if we have some sort of a negative something that's happening, I'm like, okay, we have a problem. Let's find a solution. Let's move on. Right?
Yeah, learning experience. I look at problems as it's like, hey, we learn what not to do. It's like, this isn't a bad thing. It isn't. It's like, you didn't do anything wrong. You just learned what not to do. So even though it's a problem and you maybe have messed up or failed, you really just learned, okay, don't do that. Let's modify and change. But most people will stop.
Yeah. So I look at things of like, if it hurts good enough where you're like, oh shit, you're never going to do it again. Right? So I tell my team all the time, clearly we're never going to make this mistake again. This was super stupid. Let's learn our lesson from it. We're never going to make this mistake again. Yeah. And those are just lessons. Problems are just lessons you haven't learned. Absolutely. As soon as you learn it, you're never going to be having that same problem again. You have different problems. And since you're talking about problems, Veronica Figueroa said it best, the way my brain understands it best. She says, different levels, different devils.
I love that one. Different levels, different devil. My husband says gold-plated problems.
First world problems, yes. Meaning you're never going to stop. No matter what, you're never going to achieve a level of life to be like, well, I don't have any problems at this level. No, you do. You just have different level problems. So you have higher level problems with higher income, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think problems ever go away. They just different on every level.
And also, like, people don't talk about them. I mean, Facebook is fake book, in my opinion. Like, how many people do you know that are on Facebook saying how they have the most amazing marriage? There's actually who's that girl? Girl Wash Your Face, right? She had this whole Rachel Hollis, and not to talk bad about her, but I mean, it's gotten her great, but her whole years and years of have a good marriage, fight for your marriage, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, and this is all her books are written on this. She has talks in front of millions of people about this. The facade is, oh, the marriage is great and the marriage is wonderful. And she ended up getting a divorce and coming out publicly like, hey, we're getting a divorce. And people were shocked. My point to that is not to put Rachel Hollis on blast, but it's like a lot of what you see in the world from people that are either in the entertainment industry or influencers or people that are in your city is all great. Everything's great. No one talks about the problems and the struggles they're going through. We all have them. We all have them. So,
and also, I mean, maybe to give credit to Rachel, maybe in her situation is that her fame and the amount of work and the amount of travel and all of the things that she had to do probably killed her marriage. Who knows what was the reason, right? This is why I feel like it's so important to have it all, right? To have a healthy marriage, to have a healthy relationship with your children, have a healthy relationship with your parents and your siblings and your friends, right? To have the amount of money that so said your heart desires, but not overwork for it, to have more that you don't need, but now you don't have time, and not to get overweight, right? Like I like to have it all. I like to have a good body. I have to have a good relationship. I've been married for 21 years. I have adorable children, amazing friends. I like to have it all.
Oh, I think everybody does. Everyone does. We all want it all, and it's all is possible. But all is possible, and you're still going to have problems.
Oh yeah. I mean, no, it's not a. I always like to say business is like a spaghetti, but it's a cooked spaghetti, right? Yeah. And real life is a spaghetti too, not just business, right? Like when you look at a spaghetti, it's just a straight line. Like you would think, oh, this is easy, straight to the finish line, right? And then you boil that spaghetti, and suddenly it's like this in the pot, right? You're like, oh, that's more like. I feel like life is more like this.
I love that analogy.
Cooked spaghetti in the pot.
I've never heard of it. I love it. Just like the devils are different levels. That's a good one too.
Yeah. Or when people come over to my house, right? Like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, my life is a chaos. My kids are loud. My dog is this, like it's messy. It's, and then when people come over, I'm like, hey, excuse the mess. We live here.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
It's like you can't, whatever makes you feel happy and comfortable in your life. But like, let's talk about that super quick. I have a video that went viral. Right? So it's 3.7 million views or something like that now. My 14-year-old did it. It's a video that I would have never put out there, Krista. I'm on the couch watching.
I saw it.
Did you see it? There is freaking Cheez-Its on the couch. There is juice box on the couch. There's a bottled water. There's a tissue. There, like you name it. It's a total chaos. I would never post something like that usually, right? So when I posted it, Dwayne goes like, you posted that. The background is a mess. Right. So I would control that a little bit. I don't need to see when my house is not in order. Most of the time it is, but when it's not, right, I don't want to put it out there. So and go figure, that's the video that goes viral.
It's because it's real.
I guess. I feel like every other video I do is real too. I just pick up a little bit in the background before I.
Yeah, well, it's real, and also your
before I shoot it.
Son or daughter, right? They were like, Mom, tell us about your day today, or what'd you do right or wrong today, or something like that. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, we call it the Hey Mom series. So he walks up to me random times and says, hey Mom, and just ask a question, right? And then I have to answer it right on the spot there. And it's super cute. So I told him I'm going to pay him 20 cents per thousand. So I told him I'm going to pay him $10 for the video, right? Because I usually get about 10,000 views at minimum, very minimum, right? 10,000. I said, okay, I'll pay you 20 cents per thousand, above 10,000, and I'll pay you $10 for creating the video. My first video, I'm $700 some odd in.
Oh, you are ripping him off. He should get more than that. Dang, that's a hard bargain, poor kid.
$700 the kid worked for in 10 minutes. Not even.
So?
He makes more money than a plastic surgeon.
You know how much you would make pay for 10 million or 3 million views?
I'm going to hide this episode. Duke, don't listen to it.
That's so good. I'm gonna send it to Duke.
I thought I had to go back and renegotiate my contract with him because I'm like, kid, you're making $700 in 10 minutes.
Don't be a cheapo. I'm fighting for Duke. I'll hire him. Duke, I'll pay you 30 cents every.
I know. I got so many messages from people like, Duke, I'll pay double.
It's so cute.
I want to introduce them to working with me, right? And doing things at starting at any level in all of our businesses. So over time, as they turn, 25, 30, they can take it over. Because I can't work with this speed and this work ethic forever, right?
No,
it's not doable.
I'm tired lately, but I think yesterday I was like, I'm tired. Why am I doing this? But I was like, Krista, you're sick. I mean, I'm going on day 8 right now, and I didn't work this weekend, and yesterday I worked a half a day, and then I hate sitting on the couch, and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm like, you need to get your mindset right because you're sick. You're not thinking. This is a sick brain thinking, not a normal brain. So.
When I had COVID, I was out in San Diego. So my Gogo's Bootcamp Agent Attraction course, Krista, I shot it in full-blown COVID.
Oh, God, that's so hard to do.
Full-blown COVID. I was sicker than a dog. It took But since I flew out all the way to San Diego, right,
Oh
and I was
yeah.
only there in that period of time, and everything was lined up, like all the shooting and all the content and all the this and say this and shoot it here and change your outfit and camera here and microphone there, and you know what I mean. I was like, I can't. I have to get it together. It took everything I got to get out of bed. Everything, like my skin hurt so bad that I couldn't even touch the face brush to my face to put makeup on.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
And
dude,
then
that's
and
so
then I
hard.
still
It's
had
so
to get it together and put a smile on my face and figure out what the heck I'm supposed to be saying and then shoot it and get it over it. I literally did it from, I think we got to the studio by 9 o'clock-ish in the morning. So I woke up 7:30, got ready, got there 9 o'clock, shot until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then at 2, I went straight to the couch and
yeah, I can
slept
imagine.
until next morning at 7 o'clock. And then I would get
Yeah.
up again and do it again. I was like, I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I shot Gogo's Bootcamp Agent Attraction full blown freaking COVID.
That's crazy. No, I'm so sorry. But you do everything, like you put your mind to it, you just do it. That's what it is.
Yeah. First of all, I didn't know I had COVID, right? I didn't know. I just thought I had a cold. Afterwards, I figured out it was COVID.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, man, I was sicker than a dog. But you do what it takes, right? Like
You do what it
if
takes.
that's what it took. But
That's
no,
what
you can't do it forever. So what is that you looking forward to? What are you working on? Are you ready to like continue do you want to continue going with the Krista speed, or are you looking
No,
forward to
honestly, I
like
think I need
slowing
to
down
sort
a
of
bit?
I need to slow down a little bit. I need to focus a little bit more. I'm launching, I have a passion of helping entrepreneurs. And so we've been trying to launch, it's called the $1 Million Month model, where we basically teach entrepreneurs how to have, kind of do what I do. And it's been a lot. And so it's something that I want to do. I'm passionate about. It's kind of, I feel like, going to help me get closer to my goal of, being the number one trainer. But it's been definitely a lot more harder and more energy and time than I had, that I remember. One of my team members read a book that I wrote called Fired Up. And they said, Krista, I was reading your book. You need to go back and read it, because I think you forget how hard it was when you launched your coaching business. Like, I think you forget how hard it was. And I'm like, really? Because my brain forgets hard. It just goes, okay, move on. And my husband reminded me, he's like, do you remember when you were in the kitchen crying? Like, why did you leave real estate? Why did you become a coach? You literally were in the kitchen crying. And I had to remind you, put your big girl pants on, do what you tell your students, move forward. And I was like, okay. But he's like, it was hard. Like, you had months and months of hard, and then it wasn't, and then it was like, it's hard now. it's
It's just like labor. Like if we all remembered what labor is like, we would never have more than one kid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. So I think God lets us forget the hard times, so then you'll do it again. Then you start another business, you start another coaching, like you build another funnel, you get another idea. It's just, that's how we continue going on. But I've been playing with the idea lately to slowing down a bit and actually enjoying the fruit of my labor and giving myself some time to have time with friends and family more than what I have been doing. Even though I say I work Monday to Wednesday, there are many Thursdays that appointment gets thrown in there. There are Fridays they have to go meet someone for lunch or dinner, right? Because it's an in-person appointment and things like that. So am I really not working the Thursdays and Fridays, Saturday, Sunday? Not really. And also all of my friends are realtors. I'm literally surrounded with people that I work with, right? I have a handful of friends who are not somehow in the same industry with me. So even when I'm hanging out, we're still talking real estate. We're still talking all of business stuff, right? So I really want to make new friends, like, our neighborhood down in Florida, that they're like not in the real estate world at all, and just kind of live more of a life than I used to, like cook and, figure out what's the Thanksgiving meal instead of having a chef that cooks it.
I think you should need to do that. Do it sooner than I did. I'm a workaholic, and I love work. It's a part of who I am, but I do need to slow down, because then I find myself, when I'm not working, I put too much of me in my work. And I have to really work on that. And that's one of my things, is to work on being less, less obsessed with work. It's like my hobby. It's not a good one.
Yeah, me too. Well, what do you think? I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What do you think is the most important habit that you have, that is the reason to your success?
It's definitely my determination. Just like, no matter what it takes, it's determination at 100%.
And what is that quirk that only people that truly know you know that Krista is?
Oh, I'm very hard on myself. Yeah, I'm very hard on myself. Very hard. Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like take it easy. I'm being hard on yourself. Take it easy with the amount of work.
Yes.
And, enjoy. And sounds like we have a plan for the future, you and me.
Yes, we do. We do. You're gonna text me your address. I'm gonna send you some clothes, and I'm gonna start our little thing.
You can reach Krista at KristaMashore.com. You can also find her on Instagram under Krista Mashore, and Mashore is spelled Mashore. And you can find all of her books. She's a 6 times bestseller author, and you can find all of them on my Amazon store. And all of these links are included in the episode's page on Gogopreneur.com. So just go to Gogopreneur.com, and everything that we talked about here, just go to this episode and then click it. In the description, you're going to find all of these links directly linked to Krista's profiles. So Krista, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing your life story, your knowledge in the industry, and your time. An hour of your time is an hour of your life, and we appreciate it very, very, very much.
I appreciate all you're doing, and I just love watching you and seeing your success, and it's been great to see your growth. And then also, Gogo, I wanted it for those that are just listening. We also, if you go to KristaMashore.com/free seat, you'll get a free ticket to our 3-day virtual event that we do every month. And I hope to see you there. But I love you, Gogo. I'm one of your fans.
I love you. Oh, me too. Love you, girl. Thank you so much for being here. Love you. Bye. Every episode, guys, when somebody's talking about a book they wrote or a service or a product, if there is a link to something that they're talking about, it is always included with every single episode. All you need to do is go to Gogopreneur.com, find that specific episode, and all the links are in there, including today's episode. Thanks for joining Gogopreneur. Keep that go-getter spirit alive. Until next time, go get 'em.